Message from the Honorable Leila M. De Lima, Senator of the Republic of the Philippines. Greetings from the Custodial Center of Camp Crame, the headquarters of the Philippine National Police, the place that I have reluctantly been calling home for the last 464 days. Here, for the last 15 months, my daily activities and living conditions, and in fact, my very life, has been subject to the hospitality, and to be completely honest about it, the whims of the leadership of the PNP. Ironically, I am at the mercy of the very officials and institutions whose brand of mercy towards civilians, particularly the poor and the powerless, in the course of their conduct of the so-called war on drugs, I had questioned and raised alarm over, as it seemed to come closer to mercy killing than to real mercy, judging by the body count that Oplan Tokhang had a reputation for compiling. But irony aside, the setting in which I write this message is quite fitting. For my brother, Big Boy, would not be here today reading this message on my behalf if it weren't for my current status as a prisoner of conscience. I am aware that it is for this perceived sacrifice on my behalf that I earned this privileged distinction of being the very first recipient of Amnesty International Philippines Ignite Award for Most Distinguished Human Rights Defender. I say perceived sacrifice because in truth, I see it not as a sacrifice, for sacrifice presupposes choice. And as I have always said, when people are being slaughtered and our streets are streaming with the blood, not just of those entitled to be presumed innocent, but also of those who are indubitably innocent, when the law enforcement authorities and public officials who have sworn to serve and protect the people are the ones whose hands are tainted with our people's blood, there is no real choice but to stand up for what is right, for human rights, for justice, for truth, and for the rule of law. To my mind, therefore, what I did was no real sacrifice, for it was compelled by a force that I could not and would not fight, my conscience. So, I have to remember to thank the PNP, and of course, the President, his minions, and their hired operators for their part in helping me earn this distinction. Literally, without them and their tyrannical response to criticism and opposition, our work as human rights defenders would not be so critical as it is today. And it is critical. I think the word ignite cleverly and elegantly captures the many nuances of the current state of respect for human rights in our country and sadly throughout the world, and the concomitant systematic oppression and silencing of human rights defenders. For one, ignite invokes the image of fire, and it reminds me of the story of Prometheus, the Titan who saw the iniquity of the status quo and decided to challenge it even if it meant paying a dark price. His heroism lies in his courageous defense of the weak and the helpless, us humanity. He risks earning the ire of his fellow Titans, the gods of Olympus, by giving us the gift of fire, which has been instrumental in humanity's survival, progress, and rise as a dominant and civilized species in this world. He is a champion for those who, without his help, would have forever been helpless to defend themselves from the whimsical and tyrannical rule of beings who see themselves as gods, who have the power of life and death over us, mere mortals. He so believed in the importance of his task that he risked being punished by tyrants who want to preserve the unjust status quo. For his efforts, Prometheus was bound to a rock, and every day he would be tortured by an eagle sent to feed on his liver, which ancient Greece believed to be the seat of human emotions. In other words, Prometheus became a prisoner of conscience and endured physical, psychological, and emotional torture on a daily basis. The symbolism of Prometheus' story doesn't end there. When his deliverance came, it was in the form of a child, of a mortal woman. Thus, he who defended humanity was himself set free by those he had defended. And I think that is beautiful. Therefore, this award perfectly symbolizes what we, human rights defenders, are dedicating our lives to. That is, ensuring that the weak will not forever be weak. That someday they can become strong enough not just to survive a world that could be cruel and unfair, but somehow evolve, thrive, and eventually change this world for the better by making it more just than how they had found it. The word ignite, therefore, implies three things. First, it implies light breaking out of the darkness. So in essence, this award symbolizes hope that as bad as things may be now, it can and will get better. Second, fire burns. The process could be painful, that is but natural and expected. Nothing ever worth doing is ever easy. Third, that it is but a catalyst. I am but a catalyst. Amnesty International is but a catalyst. All human rights defenders are but catalysts. Though awards and recognitions may be given, we should never forget that what we do here is not an end in itself. The true value of what we do does not lie in the number of awards and recognitions we give and receive, but in our continued devotion, despite the hardships and ultimately the effectiveness of our efforts. Therefore, as humble and gratified as I am to receive this award, the real comfort that I could receive from it is in knowing that I am by no means alone in this fight, that there are many others, that are many more to come. So I call on my fellow human rights defenders, not just to keep on fighting for human rights, but to keep on igniting the fire of human rights in the hearts of others. For therein lies the true nature of what we are fighting for. We are fighting to defend human rights for all, so that those whom we are now defending can someday themselves become human rights defenders who will stand up and defend others, and so on and so forth. Therein lies the key to success of our mission. Our mission will never, in truth, be completed, because the moment we stop fighting, the moment we believe our work is done and let our guards down, is the moment that tyrants, authoritarians, and abusers will certainly regain their foothold. The moment we let our fire die out is the moment we let darkness reign again. Let us, therefore, keep on igniting the fervor for defending human rights in the hearts of more and more people, and never let the fire die out from our own hearts. On a personal note, this award proves to me that this detention facility is not where my freedom is lost, but where liberty is defended and the rule of law will someday be regained. Again, thank you for this award. Congratulations to my fellow awardees. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas.